For years, we followed US soccer's training model step by step. We followed the exact same structure and activities provided and the same session plans that were provided through the courses, but I still felt like something wasn't clicking. Players were improving somewhat technically and tactically, but at a very slow rate. They were playing, but they weren't thinking the game. So I scrapped it and drew inspiration from academies around the world, and it finally clicked. The problem is we're not building players who can think and adapt or solve problems under pressure. Like most coaches in the US, we started with the textbook approach in the very beginner courses in US soccer. And that is play, practice, play. I'm sure they worked very hard to come up with that. This is something that is mentioned all the time in the grassroots and D-licensed courses. But when game time or game day came, we weren't seeing the transfer, and it was just a more organized recreational slop. The creativity, the freedom, the instincts that you see in youth players around the world was just not there. So this is what US soccer actually emphasizes. At the U6 to the U12 level, which is the US grassroots and D-licensed and even C courses, they primarily focus on the 4 game moments, which is attacking, defending, transition to attack, and transition to defend. They also focus on team shape and player position roles, especially in the 77 and 99 courses where they teach coaches those formations and the very basics of those formations. Also the basic session structure, like I mentioned before, which is play, practice, play. They also like to have a lot of safe and fun environment guidelines and also inclusion and participation principles. These are all important, but here's what's missing. What's missing is a deep technical development and soccer understanding. There's little to no talk about ball mastery and the importance of repetition under constraints, body orientation and scanning habits, or even decision making, especially when under pressure. These are all very important topics that youth players should be hitting on, but these courses don't even touch. Coaches are also told not to overcoach, but I think that depends on what that even means. Telling the players what to do, where to pass, where to stand shouldn't be done and doesn't help the player. But overcoaching the fundamentals that leads the player to adapt and think on their own effectively doesn't sound like a bad thing a coach can do. It actually sounds like something they need to do more of here. Grassroots licensing spends hours on field sizes and player position numbers while barely touching how to develop technical skills or the proper body shape to receive the ball. In short, the US framework is too theoretical for kids who still need thousands of touches to build real ball comfort and game understanding. So here's what we changed. So I started focusing on building training sessions that actually develop the individual and the team. Something that we touch on in mostly every single training session is ball mastery, 1v1s, and then lastly we end with a game or a positional game or possession game. First, achieving mastery of the ball is again so beneficial because American players aren't touching the ball at home as much as players in other countries, so we have to work on it in training. Second, 1v1s is very crucial for youth players. 1v1s weren't mentioned once in the courses, but they are a basic fundamental that are touched on a lot in youth academies around the world, so why not here? And lastly, positional games that force players to scan, move, and think ahead, which you could say is the third phase in the play, practice, play method, but more detailed. And week by week, I noticed something different. Players started scanning more for the ball, they started panicking less under pressure, and I saw a lot of more creative moments and creative plays that, as a coach, I didn't teach, but players taught themselves. In short, I saw more beautiful football. Players made better choices, moved the ball quicker, and actually looked like a team that understood the game. So I stopped training like US soccer told us to, and the results were insane. When I took my US soccer coaching courses, most of what I heard were about formation, safety, or the game moments. Not once did I hear about technical development or about how to receive the ball, how to receive on the back foot. And the truth is, under 10s don't need to learn how to transition to defend. They need to learn how to control the ball under pressure first. If we want the US to catch up with Europe in terms of development, we need to start coaching the important things first. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.